So, kind of looking at turn 3, looking at the victory points, essentially what had happened was the Japanese got the 3 points for controlling the railway on turn 1. Reading that again, it does actually say it's the control the entire length of the railway. So my initial thing of just sitting in Katika, is that? The little village here, probably would constitute stopping the Japanese from getting the victory points, but excuse me, I'm going with it the way I said. So Japanese got 3 points for the beginning, and then the second turn, at the end of the second turn, effectively the Allies gained 1 victory point for the destruction of the garrison here and 1 victory point for controlling the railroad, and that's kind of where we stayed. I did move these 2 Japanese units up. It's quite interesting because, I mean, it is probably a solo scenario, this, but you kind of wonder what the Japanese are meant to do here, because that unit, just with its zone of control, would have been capable of cutting the railroad. So the Japanese kind of have to, they can't just ignore the fact that there are Allied units here. And in actual fact, given that there's 3 Allied units and 2 Japanese units, that alone is probably going to cause a problem, that there isn't enough strength to kind of control a breakout from this route here. And then that doesn't allow for the rest of the map, because you can see that those are very poor units, those Japanese garrison units. They're kind of there at the mercy of the Allies, really, in a way, which I guess is what we're just going to kind of do. We're just going to kind of build on that, aren't we? Yeah, I guess let's just do that. I'm going to put the microphone down, so apologies if my sound levels change dramatically. Hopefully you can still hear okay. Yeah, so the first thing we would do is we would just have a quick look at weather conditions for turn 3. And we roll this as a 10s and a 1s dice. So I always use the colour die as the 10s. Oh, 13, that might be something. Nope, it's still clear, so it's fine. Yeah, everything's all, ground conditions are normal, and weather is clear, so we're fine with that. As I said, we then had a bit of an issue because of our units dropping in. The first 2 turns we had slightly better abilities to drop. We're now looking at well, they're para dropping in, but we're only looking at 5T maximum that we can bring in. Actually, I'm only going to bring in 4T as it happens at this stage. So we will put 1 on each of the each of those positions. Now the para drop rule. Friendly clear is anything but a 1, essentially. So we'll start, I'll use the blue for the A111, and I'll use the white for the B77. And there's no 1s, so they're both down fine. They can then kind of push on, so I think we will continue to push up this road. So we'll push him up to there. Sort those out in a second, and we'll push him up and into there. Right, now I'm going to do the same thing I was proposing to do before with that guy. Oh, it's 5. He's a slightly lesser movement rating unit, so you could move to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wouldn't actually cut it. Interesting. In which case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move him 5, and we will use him to just occupy that X there. I think what we'll actually do with this independent unit is we will flip him over and have him ready to move, ready to make another attack in there. In fact, yeah, we'll just move him to there. It doesn't really matter, but it does mean... Now that's an interesting point. Yeah, he shouldn't have probably attacked from there the last time, because we should have expended a second T, of course, for the attack. So I'm going to take that off there now while I remember. And yeah, we'll keep him in place there. That's where the attack should have probably come from last turn. He's just landed. So why don't we? There we go. So that's the solution. We pay 3 movement points, or 1 hex for him to move to there and go into reserve. And in the exploitation phase, we can capture more Hun. So that's that side sorted out. This side, now what I'm just wondering here is a couple of things. I'm going to move that unit there, which is a great little unit. I'll just put him to there for now. In fact, for now, let's just pretend that he's not going to actually move. I think what we will do is we'll move him. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm just going to kind of side slip him to there and move him up to there. And what I'm just considering is delaying the assault and using the supply to remove the out of supply. So we'll have a little look at that and see if that's the way we're going to go.